Hi, Devon. So we're doing an interview about Affinity-Belonging Camp. I'm Crystal Byrd Farmer. I am an organizer and a speaker, and I've been involved with New Culture since 2016, I think. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. My name's Devon Wright, and my pronouns are she, her. Yeah, I'm on the organizing team for the Affinity Belonging Camps this year as well, which I'm super excited about. I've been going to New Culture camps for a little over 3 years. That I know when I found Affinity Belonging Camp, the first one last year, that's where my spirit really lit up. That's where I felt home.
So tell us, what is Affinity and Belonging Camp?
Yeah, it's this amazing event that was birthed from a need. There hasn't been a lot of for queer and BIPOC individuals to where they're not having to do all the heavy lifting of educating. And it can be a really unwelcome space. Even when maybe there's good intentions, there's a lot of harm that I've seen happen. And I've also experienced myself sometimes at these camps that are unintentional but still harm. And so, what's beautiful about the Affinity Belonging Camp, or one of the things that's beautiful about it to me, is that you actually get to be around not just people who are in similar target groups as you, but you also get to bridge the gaps between groups of people that you normally wouldn't get to interact with on a day to day basis and get to know them for who they are as people, which I think a lot of times spaces are not very supportive of that. And so one of the things that really just lights me up about affinity belonging is not only is it creating like safer spaces for people who are in the LGBTQIA2S community or people who are BIPOC, but it's also connecting and building bridges and community, and we're stronger as a group. And it's also an amazing place for allies to go and learn how to better relate with people that they don't interact with on a daily basis and how to work them in a way that actually feels good to the system for the individual.
So last year was the first AB camp, and it was on the West Coast, and we both went. Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience at camp?
Yeah, I would love to. It was the first time I've actually gotten to be around my affinity group, to get to be around other trans people. And that in and of itself was like life changing. I never knew what it felt like to just be around people who understood my experience from a physical level. While we're all unique and we're all different, there is this common shared experience. Unfortunately, a lot of times it has to do with like pain and struggles, but it's also through joy and celebration of just what it is to be your unique self. And in my case, to be a trans woman, meeting other like gender diverse people, there's this feeling of, oh, I'm home. Oh, I can let down guards and defenses that I carry in my day to day movement that I wasn't even really aware I had up. And so it was an opportunity to de armor myself and feel safe, as well as, like I was saying earlier, being able to build bridges through affinity groups that maybe you don't get a whole lot of opportunity to interact with on your day to day basis. And so there was this feeling of, oh, I can let my guard down. And I'm also like expanding my ability to empathize and understand other people's experiences who are different than me because we're getting to actually connect as people. And there is this amazing culture around Affinity Belonging Camp where it's about calling in instead of pushing people out when they've made mistakes. And that can be a challenging process, but it is so juicy and so worth it. Because what happens is we end up stepping on each other's toes. And that happens at Affinity Belonging Camp. And a lot of times it's unintentional, but there's still harm that is inflicted. And so to be able to have a conscious space where we can be authentic and be like, ouch, that really hurt. And to have a supportive space to where that isn't making somebody wrong and kicking them out, but it's trying to bring them closer, get them to understand why there was an ouch, and hopefully bring those two people closer. Like in an ideal scenario, like the ouch is just going to create a stronger bond. And we got to see that in action, and it's powerful. So, yeah, I mean, there's so much I can say about last year's camp, but those were some of the highlights.
Yeah, it was really transformational for me too. It was great to see people work through conflict and work through their feelings and, like you said, become closer and be more understanding of each other. So I think that was a good outcome. So this is a camp that was created by people who are in new culture. Can you explain what new culture is?
Yeah, I can do my best. I've been involved in new culture for a few years, and it's really like the idea is okay, we're going to come together, we're going to strip away our normal hierarchies and power structure, and we're going to try to learn how to live in community together in a way that is sustainable, that is authentic, that is helping people grow as individuals. A lot of the things that are happening at Affinity Belonging Camp it was birthed from new culture ideals, but we don't always live up to the ideals. And a lot of times these new culture spaces, even though they're extremely radical and pushing the edge, and really bringing people together and living in community in a way that to me is really magical, where individuals are recognized for their gifts, they're celebrated. It's still a lot of times, there's a lot of education that has to happen in those spaces, and it can be predominant, or it is predominantly a white cishet space. And new culture is an amazing thing that has paved the path for us to be able to be like, okay, how do we fine tune this? How do we turn this real gift of new culture and the community building and relation skills that they're developing to the broader audience, to especially to target groups that could really benefit from this? But the way it's been delivered just hasn't been always a safe space for people to go to. And a lot of what at Affinity Belonging Camp comes from new culture. It's just been fine-tuned and tweaked to be able to actually like create a safer space. We can never have a completely safe space. That's what the whole ouch and oops thing is, calling people in, but we can make a safer space. And part of that is just changing the dynamics and being like, okay, let's really focus on bringing in the BIPOC and the LGBTQIA plus communities, making them the majority. And it really shifts the dynamics a lot. But new culture is also somewhere where there is a lot of making sex and being able to be connected with your body more normative. And so that's a really beautiful thing as well. So it's not about needing to go be kinky or sexy or get naked, but there's space for that to where it's normal to just be you. Whether that is, hey, I'm more on the ace spectrum, and so I'm just happy being me, and that's my like expression. Or if you're somebody who really likes to be sexually active, there's room for all of it. And I think that's also something that is like really sorely needed and very healing, is to be able to not just accept our brains and our hearts, but to actually integrate and accept all of ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Who do you think should come to AB Camp? We're having it on the East Coast and the West Coast this year. So, what types of people should come?
Yeah, if you belong to an affinity group, if you're not part of the majority, then AB Camp might be for you. If you are feeling like you are missing community, you're feeling like you're wanting to stretch your ability to connect with other people that maybe you don't get to connect with on your everyday basis. If you're looking to find your edges on growth and healing and want to expand on those, Affinity Belonging Camp really might be a beautiful place to go. And for me, a lot of times I know if I'm hearing about Affinity Belonging Camp, or if I'm hearing about something and I'm feeling some kind of pull or response, that's usually a good sign that it's for you. And I would recommend to check out the website or to reach out to somebody on the organizing team and ask about it, because there's probably a reason you're feeling a little pull. But really, it's a great space for anyone who's looking to shift things up, break out of their old patterns, dive into some self-healing, as well as healing with community on the broader spectrum, and be able to explore, like, what are some new ways of living? What are some new ways of communicating and interacting with each other that feels, I don't know, more yummy in your body? This is a great place to go do that. And so if any of those things call to someone, I would say check out Affinity Belonging Camp.
Any other thoughts or things that you want people to know about Affinity Belonging Camp?
It's radical, it's new, and it is something that I truly believe in my heart is going to be essential for how we move forward in the world. And so, on one hand, yes, there's a lot of privilege to be able to go to these kind of things and to be able to work on yourself. And there is some, I think, good selfishness, but there's some selfishness in that. It's not only self focused. This is something that is working on the broader community and the world at large. And ideally, what will happen is we will have more people resourced, be better allies, and we will have more safe spaces popping up all over the planet. And so, on one hand, yes, this is some real individual work, but there's also the collective work that happens at these events that I think is really special and has tremendous value.
I think that's good. Thank you so much for talking to me about AB Camp. And I'm looking forward to sharing space with you in a couple of months.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It was
Mhm.
a true pleasure to be able to talk about it with you today. And I really look forward to seeing you again here soon.